See, men generally are emotionally stunted, and as a result, in most cases, we do not know how to handle, deal with, or communicate our emotions, right? And so most times it will come across as we are keeping to ourselves, or we withdraw from society, and sometimes it comes out in forms of aggression or small acts of violence or big acts of violence. And with that said, I have a story for you. So I had a tenant once who really, and then one day I went outside trying to write and brainstorm, and then this dude came to me. He tried to join me, and then I could tell he wanted to get something off his chest, right? So for the past few days, he'd been complaining about how he said this sharp pain somewhere here, I don't know what it's called in English, I know it's called Islam, right? Started telling me about how getting married is crap. So I knew where this was going, but I just played along. So I was like, what? Some of us really want to get married. And then he's like, you haven't seen it. It's because you haven't been in it to see what I mean. And I was like, yo, that's a valid point, but we still want to get married regardless. And then he proceeded to say, I beat her today, with a straight face. He said, I beat her today. Her sister is here, and I wanted to tell her that I beat her. So I'm like, at this point, the Shona in me came out strong, because all I could say was, yeah, I'm on. Like, I didn't know what to say. And he says, I've been telling her that I'm not feeling well, and all she could say was, you're gonna be okay. So I'm listening to the whole thing like, what? And he's like, I'm going to the clinic to line up. I cannot stand, and all she want to do is hang with the people. This is a case of someone who felt neglected. We all have felt neglected at some point, emotionally, man, by people we thought would care for us emotionally, and at some point they didn't. They weren't there for us in the way that we want them to be there for us, right? And so, but that's not a green light to then start acting out in violence. We need to find better ways to communicate our emotions, because that is totally unacceptable. If women were to punch men for every time they felt emotionally neglected by us, we would have a lot of blind dudes here walking around, because sometimes we can be terrible listeners, you know. And so I remember listening to one of my favorite authors. I was listening to him, he was teaching, Matt Chandler. He told the story of a friend of his who didn't know how to communicate his feelings, and so because his wife understood him, she allowed him to use charts. You know those charts you use for sales projection in marketing meetings, or you know, statistics and stuff. She allowed him to use that, and he would be right there like, yo, so this red line is for anger, it's somewhere up here, and then she would ask him like, yo, so what is making you angry? And then they'll start communicating. The important thing is understand how your emotions work, master your emotions, and then from there find a way that works for you, because charts are not going to work for everybody. I write. When I don't know how to communicate my emotions, I sit down and write. I write passages, paragraphs. So find what works for you, communicate, and hopefully you have someone who understands your form of communication, and they will help you grow in it, and you need to put in the work. These cases of gender-based violence, man, they sprout from such silly issues. Like, we've all felt neglected, but you don't see people going around punching people because they feel neglected. So let us find better ways to communicate and live together in harmony.